So the season is over, ended in disappointment for the Arsenal women, just missing out on the WSL title by 1 point in the end, just behind Chelsea. But it's been a great season for the club. Join me here for a look back on the past 9 months. Hello, my name is Richard. Welcome back to my channel over and over and over again. In this video, we are going to look back on the season for the Arsenal women, which of course finished this weekend. Slightly disappointing end, wasn't it? We couldn't quite get that title off of Chelsea, but it's still been a very good season. So we're going to look back on all the action. It's been a season of change, actually, hasn't it? Both on and off the pitch. So we're going to review it all. Lots to get through. So let's get cracking. Of course, before the season started, there was a lot of changes, wasn't there? Joe Montemuro left his position as team manager, and there was a few players left as well. Leonie Mayer went to Everton. Ruby Mace went to Manchester City following a loan at Birmingham. Danielle van der Donk, of course, went to Lyon. Jill Roord went to Wolfsburg, and Lisa Evans left on loan for the season to West Ham. But coming in was new manager called Jonas Isabel, the Swede, came in to take over Joe's role, and there were some new signings as well. Simone Boy arrived from Bayern Munich, a central defender. Frida Mana, a midfielder, came from Linköping. Nikita Paris was signed from Lyon. Mana Iwabochi came from Aston Villa, where she'd been playing the season before. And of course, Tobin Heath joined from Manchester United. So a lot of changes, both in terms of manager and on the pitch as well. Also, as well, of course, there was the new Sky TV deal as well, meaning a lot more games would be shown on the TV, bringing the women's game into a bigger audience, which was a massive positive for the sport. So Arsenal began their season early in August away at Moscow, actually, ironically enough, in a Champions League qualifier against the team from Kazakhstan, Okhapets, and it ended in a 4-0 victory. Mana Iwabochi scored on her debut, as indeed did Nikita Paris. A Kim Little penalty and a goal from Beth Mead gave Arsenal that 4-0 victory. They followed it up in the same stadium a few days later with a victory over PSV Eindhoven. That game finished 3-1. Iwabochi scored 2 more goals, plus Viv Miedema got her first of the season as well. That sent Arsenal through to a one-off qualifying game against Slavia Prague to qualify for the group stage. The first leg was at Meadow Park at the end of August. It finished in a 3-0 victory. Nikita Paris was on target again, along with another Kim Little penalty and a goal from Viv Miedema. Of course, September saw the start of the WSL season, and what an opening weekend it was. Of course, Chelsea visiting the Emirates in a really big game to kick off the season. What a great game it turned out to be as well, in the sunshine. Viv Miedema, of course, gave Arsenal an early lead before Chelsea equalised with Erin Cuthbert, but those 2 goals in the second half from Beth Mead was enough to give Arsenal the victory despite a late comeback goal from Pernille Harder, and that was set the tone really for Arsenal's early WSL performances. Just after the Chelsea game, we did play the second leg away in Prague. That ended in a 4-0 victory, a hat-trick from Viv Miedema, which included her 100th goal for the club. Kim Little also scored in that game as well. We followed that with a second WSL win of the season away at Reading. That game finished 4-0. Jem Beattie got the opening goal. Beth Mead scored as well, and 2 second-half goals from Viv Miedema sealed the points there. We then had a great 5-0 victory over an injury-hit Manchester City at Meadow Park. Viv Miedema on target again. Kim Little scored twice. Katie McCabe scored a great goal as well. Leah Williamson got her first of the season. We finished the month of September with the FA Cup quarter-final held over from the previous season. That was against Tottenham at Meadow Park. Despite going a goal behind early on, we came back to win 5-1. Mana Iwabochi was on target again. Caitlin Ford with 2 goals. It was an own goal, and Nikita Paris was also on target to seal that 5-1 victory to put us in to the semi-final. October started well then. A trip to Aston Villa ended in a 4-0 victory. It was 0-0 at half time, but we did get the goals in the second half. Captain Kim with 2. Manette Uwebochi got her first WSL goal for the club, and another absolute screamer from Katie McCabe sealed that 4-0 victory. We then began the Champions League group stage with a tough trip to holders Barcelona. Very, very tough night that was. It was our first defeat of the season. It ended 4-1. Frida Marnham it was with her first goal for the club. And Manu Zinsberger did save a penalty late on in that game as well, but it did end in a 4-1 defeat. We bounced back from that though with a WSL victory over Everton at Meadow Park. That game finished 3-0. Katie McCabe on target again. And it was Woober Moy plus another great goal from Frida Marnham sealed that 3-0 victory. We then got a Champions League campaign back on track with a 4-0 victory over Hoffenheim at Meadow Park. Kim Little opened the scoring from the penalty spot before Tobin Heath got her first goal for the club before half-time. Then in the second half, Viv Miedemeier and Leah Williamson sealed a very important 4-0 victory, a result that would prove to be crucial actually at the end of the group stage. We then ended October by reaching the FA Cup final, the previous season's FA Cup final, by beating Brighton 3-0 in the semi-final at Meadow Park. Again, it was Kim Little with the crucial breakthrough before further goals from Beth Mead and Leah Williamson sealed that 3-0 victory to send us to Wembley, where we would face Chelsea in December. November started well, then a 4-0 victory at home to West Ham in the WSL. Kim Little again was in a great run of form. She got 2 goals on that day. Beth Mead scored. It was an own goal as well from Grace Fisk to seal that 4-0 victory. We then travelled away to Koga in the Champions League. Difficult game on a plastic pitch, but we came out 5-1 winners in the end. Steph Catley scored her first goal for the club. Brilliant free kick that was. Second half goals in the end from Nikita Paris, who had missed a penalty earlier in that game. Caitlin Ford, Anna Patton and Jordan Nobbs with her first goal of the season as well. So sealed that 5-1 victory. We then travelled to Barnet to face Tottenham in the North London derby. A very strange game that was in the first half. We should have been 3 or 4-0 up. Good performance from Arsenal, but we lost our way a little bit after the break. We went behind, could have been 2-0 down. In the end, Viv Miedemeier's last gasp header did salvage a 1-1 draw from that game. The return match with Koga at Meadow Park followed that, and it was a comfortable 3-0 victory in the end. Caitlin Ford's early goal settled the nerves, but it wasn't until late in the second half that Lotta Woober-Moy and Viv Miedemeier sealed that 3-0 victory. And we ended November with a tough trip to Manchester United in the WSL, but we did get the victory. It was 2 second half goals. Viv Miedemeier with the opener before Katie McCabe won and then converted a penalty to seal the 2-0 victory. Of course, December proved to be a very, very difficult month for the club. It started at Wembley with hopes really high on the FA Cup final. This was, as I say, last season's FA Cup final. We faced Chelsea, but it turned out to be a really poor performance from Arsenal. We lost 3-0, could have lost by a few more. We never really got going in that game. And that actually was the start of a really poor run of form for the club. It didn't get any easier a few days later when Barcelona visited the Emirates in the Champions League. Again, we couldn't really live with them. We lost 4-0 in that game. Again, it could have been quite a lot more. We did briefly get a revival as we closed in towards Christmas. We played Leicester, newly promoted Leicester at Meadow Park in the WSL. We did win that game 4-0. Wasn't a great performance, but we did seal the victory. Jordan Nobbs got her first WSL goal of the season. Viv Miedemeier added a second before 2 late goals from substitute Frida Marnham sealed that 4-0 victory. But we ended December with a disappointing 4-1 defeat away at Hoffenheim to conclude the Champions League group stage. We'd qualified anyway, barring a heavy defeat. It did end up 4-1. Our only goal on that particular night was an own goal from Laura Wainroffer, who would very, very soon join Arsenal. So it was a very, very disappointing end to a year that had been a very good year overall. So the year started and there was some activity in the transfer market with 3 brand new signings coming in. Rafaela Souza, a central defender, came in from the Chinese league to partner Leah Williamson in defence. We also brought in, Laura Wainroffer from Hoffenheim, right back. And also the big signing was Stina Blackstenius, a striker from Swedish side Häcken, of course, a world-class striker with a great international record for Sweden as well. So things were looking up for the new year, but unfortunately, when the action got back underway at bottom side Birmingham, things didn't go too well. We did have a lot of injuries that day, a few issues with COVID, etc., and we did lose somehow 2-0 to the bottom side, who hadn't actually won a game all season. defeat that would come back to really haunt us later on in the campaign. We followed that up with a match against Manchester United in a quarter-final of the Continental Cup at Meadow Park. That did end, of course, in a disappointing 1-0 defeat. A goal from Alicia Russo did give Manchester United a victory. We then travelled to a revitalised Manchester City in a vital WSL game. We had to avoid a second consecutive defeat. Wasn't looking good for us when Manchester City took the lead midway through the second half with a goal from Khadija Shaw. The referee's involvement in that goal will always be talked about, I'm sure. But in stoppage time, substitute Tobin Heath came up with a really important goal, a great goal it was as well, to give Arsenal a 1-1 draw. Then we faced Brighton midweek at Meadow Park. And again, things weren't looking good and we trailed 1-0 at half-time. But a brilliant second half performance, particularly from Beth Mead. It was her free kick that set up Viv Miedemar for the equaliser before Mead herself got the winning goal from a free kick as well. Brilliant night that was. And that maybe started the turnaround in our form that almost took us to the title. We then ended January with an FA Cup fourth round tie at home to Championship side London Lionesses. Difficult game, but we did scrape through 1-0 to it. It was Viv Miedemar with that goal at the very end of the first half to end the month in good form. So February started then with a meeting again with Manchester United, this one in the WSL. We did go a goal down early on in this one and Katie McCabe was then sent off. But Stina Blackstenius started to repay the transfer fee with her first goal for the club late on in that game. A lovely ball from Viv Miedemar set that up and Blackstenius scored her first goal to give us a 1-1 draw, which in the circumstances probably wasn't a bad result. After that, of course, it was the heavyweight meeting, wasn't it? Away at Chelsea, the game many people felt was going to decide the WSL title. We actually played pretty well in that first half. We were the better team, maybe unlucky to go in 0-0. Maybe a few opportunities for Chelsea in that second half. We came close late on, but it did finish 0-0, which maybe still gave Chelsea a slight advantage in the table, but it certainly wasn't a bad result for us and a good performance as well. And we then ended February with an FA Cup quarter-final tie away at Championship leaders Liverpool. We did win that game quite comfortably in the end. 4-0 it was. 2 great goals from Caitlin Ford. An absolute screamer again from Katie McCabe. And Kim Little ended her goal drought with the 4th goal late on in that game to send us in to another FA Cup quarter-final. So March then started with 2 home games at Meadow Park in the WSL. Firstly, it was Reading and a good, comfortable 4-0 victory. It was a good performance that night. The first goal was scored by Vivian Miedemar. Katie McCabe got the second and Leah Williamson sealed the points before half-time before Stina Blackstenius was on hand to add her second goal for the club very late on in that game to seal the 4-0 victory. Bottom side Birmingham then visited Meadow Park. A strange game this was. We were in complete control for a lot of that game. Rafaela Souza got her first goal for the club. Viv Miedemar also added another goal before Beth Mead made it 3-0. But we let Birmingham back into it. They scored 2 quick goals late in that game. A few nerves started happening, but very, very late on, Caitlin Ford came off the bench to grab the important 4th goal to seal the points. A 4-2 victory. That was a really important game, really important victory as well. Next up was a trip down to Brighton for another really big game in the WSL with Chelsea winning. We had to keep on winning our games. Turned out to be a very good performance from Arsenal, particularly in the first half. 2 more goals from Stina Blackstenius set us on the way before Beth Mead made it 3-0. And that was how it finished. We then played Coventry United, another Championship side, in the FA Cup quarter-final at Meadow Park. Comfortable victory. A good performance from Coventry, has to be said. But we ended up winning that game 4-0. Stina Blackstenius was on target yet again. Beth Mead and Viv Miedemar sealed the victory before Nikita Paris scored as well very late on in that game to end her long goal drought. Then, of course, it was Champions League knockout stage was back. We were in the quarterfinals. We faced Wolfsburg and, of course, our old friend Jill Roord, who, of course, had left last summer. The game was played at the Emirates, the first leg. Not a great first half from Arsenal, but the second half was brilliant. We dominated that game. Should maybe have won. In the end, it was a very, very late goal from Lotte Woo to earn us a 1-1 draw to take over to Germany the following week. Unfortunately, we wasn't quite able to get through that night. We did lose 2-0, of course, over in Germany. Jill Roord was on target for one of those goals for Wolfsburg, and we crashed out of the Champions League at the quarter-final stage. So as we moved into April, then we still had the WSL title and the FA Cup to play for. We had to win away at Leicester, where Chelsea had won 9-0 the previous week. It was a comfortable victory for Arsenal. We ended up winning this game 5-0. Beth Mead's early goal wasn't really added to, though, until late in the second half. 2 goals from Viv Miedema, an own goal from Ashley Plumtree before Tobin Heath came off the bench to score Arsenal's 5th goal. It proved to be her last goal for the club before she would leave due to injury. It was then the FA Cup semi-final, a really big game at Meadow Park, of course, against holders Chelsea, looking to get revenge for that defeat at Wembley back in December, but it wasn't to be. We had some chances in that first half. We played pretty well, but in the second half, we gifted Chelsea 2 goals and it finished in a 2-0 defeat. And with Chelsea also now back on top of the WSL, it looked as though the trophies were slipping away from us. We did end April, though, with a 3-0 victory away at Everton. Decent performance against a struggling side. A great goal from Caitlin Ford gave us the lead at half-time. And then Beth Mead and Jordan Nobbs both scored their 50th WSL goals in the second half to make it a great day for Arsenal. And we ended April with a 3-0 victory. So, Maiden, where everything would be decided for us, could we overhaul Chelsea's lead at the top? They had a couple of difficult games against Tottenham to come, but they did manage to get victories in both those games. However, we did all we could do. We beat Aston Villa 7-0 at Meadow Park at the start of May. A really, really good performance that was from Arsenal. Probably the best performance of the season overall. 2 early goals from Viv Miedema, an own goal in the second half, along with goals from Beth Mead, a brilliant goal that was. Lotte Wubben-Moy, Stina Blackstenius, and a very late penalty from Nikita Paris. Her first WSL goal for the club, her 50th WSL goal of her career as well. Then, of course, it was a big North London derby at the Emirates, which had been postponed from March. Despite Tottenham's attempts to try to kick us off the park, we did end up winning that game 3-0. Another great goal from Beth Mead, the 6th WSL game in a row she had scored in, and then 2 goals in the second half from Caitlin Ford. Really finished the season in good form, the Australian. That sealed a 3-0 victory, which took the title race down to the last day. And of course, at the game at West Ham on Sunday, we needed to better Chelsea's result. If Chelsea won, there was nothing we could do. Of course, it looked for a while as though things were going to go our way. Manchester United twice led against Chelsea at Kings Meadow. We struggled to break down West Ham, looking very, very nervous. In the second half, though, we did get the goals. Dina Blackstenius came off the bench to score another goal for the club. That's 7 for her in a very short period of time. Looks as though she could well be a challenger for the Golden Boot next season. Steph Catley then scored her first WSL goal as well. Brilliant goal that was to make it 2-0. But unfortunately, Chelsea did, of course, come back to beat Manchester United 4-2 to just pick us to the title. So overall then, a good season for the Arsenal women. Just 1 point off the title in the WSL semi-final of the FA Cup, an FA Cup final from the previous season, which was rolled over. We did reach the knockout stage of the Champions League as well, got the furthest of any English side in the competition. Bit unlucky maybe to lose to Wolfsburg, who then later on did win one of the legs against Barcelona, didn't they? Who, of course, had beaten us in the group stage. So it was a good season overall. Yes, there's still room for improvement. We want to win some trophies. It's the 3rd season in a row now without a trophy, but you can certainly see the improvements that we made from last couple of seasons. To take that title race down to the last day against a side as good as Chelsea just goes to show we're not far away, are we? I think 1 or 2 new signings in the summer, 1 or 2 little tweaks here and there. Of course, Jonas has extended his contract until at least 2024, which is good news as well. And news coming through that starting from the end of this season, the girls are going to be training with the academy lads as well. Try to get a little bit more physicality in their play, hopefully help out with some of these big games next season. So things are looking good. So it was a good season for the Arsenal women. We didn't win a trophy, no. The TV deal helped. The crowds were bigger. Arsenal got a lot more following as well throughout the season. And things looking good for the future, aren't they? So that's that there then. The season review then for the Arsenal women. I say a good season. Unfortunately, didn't quite end in the glorious finish that we were hoping for. But lots to look forward to coming up over the next few years, I'm sure, with this group of players. So that's it for now then. Coming up on the channel, of course, it'll be the Tuesday Clinic, which will be tomorrow. And then later on in the week, we'll have the Arsenal Women's Show on Friday. We'll have the panel in, of course, to look back on the season, get their views on it all as well. We'll be giving out a few awards as well, goal of the season, player of the season, all that kind of stuff. So please join us. That will be 7:30 on Friday. And then on Sunday, we'll be doing a preview of the game for the men away at Newcastle. I'll be getting Paul from the Toon Review on to look ahead to that game. So that's going to be a good show as well on Sunday. So loads coming up on the channel. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, and please subscribe. We are getting very close to 1,000 subscribers. That'd be nice to get there, wouldn't it? Before the start of the Women's Euros in July. So I'll say, if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Stay tuned to the channel for everything that's coming up over the next few weeks. Going to be lots of stuff. Even though the season's finishing, we're still going to be producing a lot of content. So please stay with us. Please like, share, and subscribe. I will speak to all you guys very, very soon. Take it easy. Hope you've enjoyed this video. As always, come on, you Gunners. See you soon, guys.